Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tanisha Fant, and the name of my company is TMF Management Services LLC. So, what I do, I'm actually a virtual assistant. So, I do admin services for different nonprofits here in the city, as well as event coordination and grant writing and research as well. And so today I'm going to be speaking about introduction to grant research and writing, a few tips. I've been doing it for about a little over a year, year and a half, writing grants. And so I'm going to just give a few tips on how to write a successful proposal for a grant. Okay. Okay, first thing you need to do is to define, research, and understand. You need to define your project clearly, outline the goals and address the problem or needs that you see that your community need. And that should incorporate a team that you should have together for your nonprofit, which should consist of your executive directors, your board of directors, or any team leaders that you may have. Um, and research any funding opportunities. I found there are different types of platforms to locate different types of funding opportunities. One is called Instrumental. Instrumental, there is a small fee for it, but I deemed it very good because you can choose several, you can um, cater it to what you're looking for. The way it's set up, you can choose if for different projects, and you can find different um, grants for different projects, and it will give you the deadlines for everything and the requirements of it as well. And you have to make sure that those grants that you're looking for coincide with your organization mission or the project mission, um, going toward the same goal. And another thing is understand the requirements of those grants deadlines. Um, what I suggest for a lot of nonprofits is to do a master calendar of the different projects, excuse me, the different grants that you have, so you can keep abreast on the different deadlines, so you won't get behind or become overwhelmed trying to complete it. Let's say if it's due on Friday and you did not keep up with the deadline that's coming Friday, that you're up all night trying to complete the grant. And there are several types of grants that you can out there that's out there. You have federal grants, and with the federal grants, you will need what they call a UEI number. That's a unique, um, what was it? Unique equitable identifier. You get that from sam.gov. Most people are remember with the DUNS number. They're not using that anymore. So you would definitely need what they call a UEI to apply for federal grants. And you have your local grants, and there's several different foundations out there as well. And also, I would suggest once you find the grants, what I do to help with different clients, I make a working document inside of Google Docs. So that would eliminate the needs of having to meet every so often. So if you have a working document in a Google Drive and you invite the different team players who are working on a grant with you, they can work it at their own pace. Or if I do one and I will make a comment, and they'll go and check it out if it's something they agree with or something I can make better. Um, that's I found is easy to do. um, with the proposal and budgeting. You need to have a strong and clear um, message or narrative to describe the impact whatever your initiative or your project is will be on the community. So you need to start with something that will grab the reader's attention, a strong opening. And like before, clearly state the purpose of your project so they will understand what you're trying to accomplish. And you need to also provide context for the issue or problem that your project aims to address. One organization I know worked with young black men in the city, and so they had to actually come up with the problem they had was seeing that the young men were being um, suspended at a higher rate, and they had to get to the crutch of why they were having issues in school. So that's what the problem was, high suspension rates. So they worked on the issue of combating with having mentorship, and so they had to come up plan of hiring, finding volunteers for mentors, um, having events set up for the young men to meet the mentors, and a way just to keep that ball rolling once it gets started. And also, you need to create a budget, a realistic budget that coincide with the amount of the grant that you're requesting. Um, I've seen some budget that it doesn't make any sense. It needs to make it's a something called SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable. One second, I'm sorry. Relevant and time bound. So the budget need to make sense of how you want to present, how you're going to accomplish the goal, the purpose of the project or the initiative. So it needs to make sense, and this is where you would really need to have your financials in order. I've seen most grants ask the same thing each time. You would need have your tax return from the previous 2 to 3 years. Sometimes they request an audit as well. And what I would suggest is have all that information inside of your organization drive, so it'd be easy to access, um, to get to that information quickly. Because there's one thing I did realize, that they always ask for returns, and I have issues where I had to wait until the ED had contacted the accounting to get that information. So make sure your budget is realistic when you request in money. And also, you will need to have a way of evaluating the success of the project to see how it will, did it make any sense? Do you need to change anything in regards to making it better, or what's not working? So you need to receive like feedback um, from the participant and parents if you're working with kids. So what I would suggest to do like a pre-assessment before the start of the project or the program or the initiative, and then throughout maybe like a midway check in with them to see if anything need to be changed before the ending of the project or the initiative. And also, you need to address plans of scaling up or replicating the project if it's really good. So if it worked, how you can't take it on a higher level, onto a bigger level. And also with sustainability, I will highlight any partnerships or collaborations which you should be able to make throughout the city, and they should be organically made. So I would suggest going to networking events to and connect with people who have the um, same purpose of the organization, and that way you can feed off each other in regards to helping um, your program or your initiative or your project to succeed. And one thing about partnerships, um, you need to build trust. Trust is the foundation of any successful partnership. So you need to be transparent and reliable. One thing about your program, you go be the face of your program or your organization. And if you don't follow through on any promises that you made, that's not a good look. I've seen that on numerous occasions where you overstated and was underwhelmed in completing your um, service or your partnership or development in that relationship. And always maintain communication, uh, open communication throughout the year. So just not for this one project, it should be an ongoing relationship and with any partners that you develop in the community. Um, and also update your partners regularly on what's going on with the project, and maybe they can also help you receive feedback from anyone with your grants. So if you are doing a grant and you write it out, I would suggest reach out to someone who have been successful in getting numerous grants, and to see if there's anything that can give you back any construction criticism in regards to making the grant even better, sounding better. And I will suggest that sometimes AI works, But AI only works, excuse me, artificial intelligence only works if you prompt it to say what you would like for it to say and cater the um, the narrative to your programming or your initiative. All right, like I said before, remember to tailor your narrative to the specific requirements and priorities of the grant that you're applying for. So make sure it makes sense. So don't go for grants for environmental and if you're working with animals. That would be a good intersection. So make sure you tailor the grant proposal to the specific requirements of that particular grant. Use clear and concise language and also provide evidence to support any claims that you may have. So data is very important. I found out data is very important in grant writing. So you need to have numbers to back up anything that you are suggesting that you can make better with whatever you are applying for or what you're trying to uh, make successful in the program or the initiative. Also, make sure to meet all deadlines. That's really important, and not down to the wire because it won't give you enough time to receive any feedback from others that you may be able to help, who can help you with and make sure it flows logically, like A, B, C, D. So that's why I was suggesting that a working document would make sense. So in the working document, what I normally do is I look over the grant and any questions that's in the grant, I place into the document. So it will be in order. So you're not jumping around trying to figure out what's going on. And also regularly review and revise your proposal. Because once you write this proposal, you can use it as what I've heard called as a boilerplate for different grants as well. You would just tweak it here or there to go with that particular grant that you are writing for. And this is my contact information. If you have any questions or need some assistance with anything, like I said, I do grant writing and grant research. I've noticed that the grants are getting more competitive now because there's more nonprofits starting out there. So I heard Ms. Libby say earlier that she may be concentrating on fundraising, but fundraising is another one to get money. But like I said, grant out there are very, very competitive. So you have to have a strong argument for your organization to get some of that money.